Hello again, everyone. Welcome to Washington Gun Law TV. I'm Washington Gun Law President William Kirk. Thanks for joining us. Hey, Arkansas, we get to talk again. Now, listen, I gotta tell you, Arkansas, you were doing really good on this channel. The first video we ever did on Arkansas was way back in January of 2023, and it was about this really cool thing where all your sheriffs told the ATF to go pound sand. Totally awesome. Then in August of 2023, we did this video about a piece of legislation which we thought was fantastic because it was actually going to protect your medical cannabis community from being disarmed. Once again, totally awesome news. So far, Arkansas was 2 for 2. Well, guess what, Arkansas? You've hit it out of the park again. Now, I was a little shocked when I first saw this ruling, but then I took a look at the statutory scheme, and I got to say, maybe I should start practicing our law in Arkansas. Don't believe me? I'm going to talk to you about a ruling that just came out of the Arkansas Supreme Court. It's going to blow your mind, blew my mind, it's going to blow everybody's mind, but it's still pretty cool. So let's talk about it. So today, let's spend a few minutes and let's talk about how Arkansas just became the safest place to practice law. Okay, so the case we're talking about today is Corbitt v. Pulaski County Circuit Court. It is a case that is brought to us by the Arkansas State Supreme Court. It is a case which has ruled that lawyers in Arkansas have the right to carry a firearm inside the courthouse. Let me say that again. It is a case that has ruled that Arkansas lawyers have the right to carry a firearm inside a courthouse. Now, before all of you other lawyers out there start jumping for joy, thinking that this was some huge Bruin-like analysis which struck down a long-standing statute in Arkansas and therefore all of us lawyers will be free to be armed inside the courthouse, au contraire. That is not what happened. Rather, this is completely a creature of Arkansas law, a very unique Arkansas law. Because if we go back and we take a look at some areas that there is a rich historical tradition of allowing disarmament in these sensitive places, yeah, actually the judicial system turns out to be one of them. So candidly, I think just about any law that required disarmament inside courthouses, courtrooms, and things like that would probably withstand constitutional scrutiny. But even though they could withstand constitutional scrutiny, it does not mean that a state can't say, well, you know what, in this state, we're going to allow certain people to do it. And that's exactly what Arkansas has done. Now, the court has ruled for some strange reason that the statute permits lawyers to actually possess a firearm inside a courthouse, but not necessarily inside the courtroom. That may be in part to what this challenge initially was. We're not going to get too far into that. But when you see the language of the statute, you're going to say, well, wait a second. It would seem to me that that application into the courthouse would also mean in the courtroom. Because the statute which is at play here specifically reads, a law enforcement officer, either on duty or off duty, officer of the court, bailiff, or other person authorized by the court is permitted to possess a handgun in the courtroom of any court or courthouse in this state. Okay, seems like pretty simple English, right? And that's exactly what the Arkansas Supreme Court found, because in finding that attorneys have the right to possess a firearm inside the courthouse, they specifically ruled, in interpreting the language of the statute in parts relevant to the remaining issues in this appeal, it unequivocally permits certain individuals, including 1, law enforcement officers, 2, bailiffs, and 3, officers of the court, to possess handguns in courthouses within this state. First, each word in a statute must be given a significance and meaning. Here, the inclusion of the term officer of the court alongside law enforcement officers and bailiffs suggests a deliberate intent by the legislature to afford individuals falling within this category the privilege of possessing handguns in court settings. Next, it is important to emphasize that the term other serves as a determiner in this case. If the drafters had meant for the phrase authorized by the court to apply to each item, they would have left out the word other. As a result, attorneys, as officers of the court, are recognized under the statute as individuals authorized to possess handguns in courthouses within the state. And I completely agree with the court's analysis on that statutory language. But candidly, if anyone wants to bring a challenge in the state of Arkansas to say, hey, listen, I think we actually get to carry firearms into the courtroom itself. And I'm not saying this is a wise idea. I'm not saying this is an unwise idea. I'm just applying the law to simple English here, okay? But here's why the challenge would likely prevail, because as one of the concurring justices wrote, Arkansas Code annotated section 5-73-122B makes no distinction between courtrooms and courthouses. It provides a law enforcement officer, either on duty or off duty, officer of the court, bailiff, or other person authorized by the court is permitted to possess a handgun in the courtroom of any court or courthouse in this state. As appellees point out, because the statute treats courtrooms and courthouses the same, the attempt to distinguish courtrooms and courthouses is a distinction without a difference. In my view, the majority's interpretation of the statute as it applies to courthouses necessarily applies to courtrooms. But the order of the court as it sits today is that Arkansas attorneys are permitted to possess a firearm inside a courthouse in the state of Arkansas, thus making Arkansas the safest state in the nation to practice law. Listen, we're going to go ahead and link up the court's order down below so that you can geek out on it. Congratulations, Arkansas. You are 3 for 3. Every time we do a video on you, it's nothing but good news. By the way, if any of you got ideas for videos that we should be doing here at Washington Gun Law, click on that link right there. We'd love to hear from you. As a matter of fact, some of the best videos that we've ever done weren't actually our ideas to begin with. If you got any other questions about this issue or anything else related to what's left of our Second Amendment rights, you all should know how to get a hold of Washington Gun Law by now. If you don't, that's okay. That information's down there in the description box. And then finally, let's everyone remember that part of being the lawful and responsible gun owner, like we talk about all the time here, is to know what the law is in every situation, how it applies to you in any instance that you may find yourself. Until next time, thanks for watching and stay safe.